I'd like to ask the Caribbean American organization to please come forward. Can do, have done, will do. Amen. Hey, Gene. We were on our way in this morning. As usual, I dropped my daughter off at the academy before coming here, and we always look over at the port, and she usually says, "Daddy, the ship's here," or "Daddy, the ship's not here." And today she said, "Daddy, the ship's not here." And I said, "Well, it's probably still deep in the Caribbean. They don't want to come home." But each year I enjoy this part of the year. If you haven't had the opportunity to go out and enjoy the festivities that take place when they do their annual event at the University Community Center, you should. Some of the best cooking, some of the best food, some of the best outfits, and a lot of fun. You don't have to go very far to enjoy the beauty and the culture and the love that is in the Caribbean, that we're so rich to have right here around our beautiful state of Florida. We are a part of that Caribbean, so I like to think that I'm part of this too, because, Florida, we may be a peninsula, but we're a lot like an island. I have 2 solid plaques that were requested that we will be giving to you, and a bunch of certificates. I'm going to go ahead and read what it says on there, but before I do, this organization was founded because Tampa Bay is the second largest community to Caribbean Americans in the United States. Everyone likes to think of Miami being the only place, but no, Tampa Bay rivals Miami and New York in the number of Caribbean Americans who live here. And we have such a diverse culture in our community that sometimes goes, without notice. We just take it for granted that it's just part of where we live, and we don't stop to think about the uniqueness of it. And it helps make the face of what is Tampa Bay. The organization was founded, there are 2 of the leaders here, Francis Joseph on this side, and my good friend Gene Marshall on this side. Gene never retired from Chase Bank, he just changed occupations, but he's like Mr. Public Service guy now. But I do understand that golden umbrella was enough to be able to give you the opportunity to share with everybody. In all seriousness, though, the organization helps to do 2 things. It helps to transition these folks into our culture. It helps them to become a part of what is the potpourri of the United States, which is the blending of all of our cultures. But it also helps them to be able to reach out and help others. And it's one of those wonderful opportunities where it's sharing. And I'm grateful, and my daughter and my family is grateful that you are here and that we enjoy being a part of the culture and the richness that we call our home. Whereas the Caribbean Americans, through their diversity and work ethic, have contributed to the nation, the United States, culture, story, and history for generations. Whereas millions of Americans in the United States are connected to their Caribbean neighbors through ties in a variety of ways: roots, family, relationships, travel, interest, and common values in history. Whereas the natives of the United States and the Caribbean have advanced on a similar path of progress, driven by shared dedication to foster opportunities to forge growth, prosperity, and happiness. Caribbean Americans excel in the United States as well as at home. They excel in our universities, they excel in our communities, they excel in music, arts, theater, culture, athletics, business, banking, Mr. Marshall, Bosch and Loam, Mr. Joseph. Yeah, we got 2 major executives on either side. I hope I'm not embarrassing you guys. Actually, I take that back. I'm glad I'm embarrassing you. The U.S. has worked with the Caribbean nations to advance security, liberty, prosperity, and happiness throughout our part and hemisphere of the world. Over 100,000 strong Caribbean Americans have made a place in the United States and a significant contribution to their home. Whereas Hillsborough County's passionate Caribbean American community works diligently to increase prosperity, educational opportunities, not only among themselves, but with others throughout the community in sharing the love. And yes, they do, the Caribbean love. I'm from New Orleans, so I grew up in it. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hillsborough County, Florida, does hereby declare June 2017 as Caribbean American Heritage Month in Hillsborough County and encourages residents and visitors to honor the wonderful heritage and rich history our Caribbean American neighbors, loved ones, and family members have brought to our community. Board of Hillsborough County Commissioners, we thank you, we applaud you, and we look forward to continued working relationship. Mr. Marshall?
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Joseph, comments?
Thank you, Commissioner Crist. I've learned that anytime we meet, I have to speak before the commissioner because he always knows what I'm about to say. So thank you, Commissioner Crist. Thank you to the entire Board of County Commissioners, the county administrators, county attorneys, and all of our partners. One of the things that I was going to say is the U.S. Census in 2014 published a report talking about the population, the Caribbean population, and the migration from the Caribbean region into the United States. And there were a couple of cities, there were 10 cities identified, New York, Miami, and Boston as the top 3 where the Caribbean community migrates to. And then at the bottom of that 10 was Houston. And in the middle of that was Orlando and Tampa. So as the commissioner said, we are rivaling these other cities. What that tells us is that the Caribbean community are migrating to the central Florida region. As Miami grows and becomes more densely populated, they are migrating north. And as the population from up north migrates south, the central Florida region is exactly where we're landing. And with that, the Caribbean community is a subset of the population as a whole. So what we initially intended to do was to establish a base and a foundation for helping that segment of the community as we migrate into this area, help us to become part and to integrate with the Hillsborough community as a whole. So thank you for recognizing us as being a part of this community, as an influential part, because we are now sewn in as part of the fabric. As the commissioner has indicated, anywhere you go, you have an opportunity to meet somebody from the Caribbean. And the Caribbean is a very diverse population. It's English, Spanish, French, Dutch. So sometimes getting a meeting between our community is a little bit like the UN. Because we have all that energy, all of that passion going for us. So thank you for recognizing us and recognizing the month. And we look forward to continue to contributing to the community in which we so gladly appreciate. Thank you.
I had not planned to say anything, but I can't ever say no to Commissioner Crist. I think Francis said it all. All I wanted to add is that we are very honored to be part of the fabric of this community, and we continue to contribute to the best of our abilities and to be part of just about everything that happens in this community. So thank you very much, Commissioner. We appreciate it and look forward to continuing to interface with the county commissioners and with Hillsborough County. Thanks.
Commissioner
Mr. Marshall, I'm not
Crist,
going to let you get away that easy. Come back. You know, you just heard a story, and for many it may resonate, but I'm going to put it into a true picture of the contributions made from the Caribbean. This man grew up in Jamaica and came to the United States to go to school and worked very hard to get through his education. He was very fortunate. He got hired on by Chase Manhattan Banks in New York. You know, not long after joining the bank, they realized what was in this man, and they put him to hard work. And he traveled the world on behalf of Chase, opening offices and growing that bank. He grew all the way up to the top ranks of the executive management and leadership in New York and had a lot of responsibilities. But the one that resonates most, that so few will ever really be able to see, I'm going to tell you, he was head of Chase Philanthropies. He was the lead guy in charge of their worldwide giving. So you talk about a big heart, one of the world's largest banks and one of the world's largest donors. And he, for decades, traveled the world making sure that people's lives were improved. He settled here in Tampa, not by accident. They sent him here to grow Chase banks in southeastern United States. He brought them to Florida and built the huge complex out on 301 to house thousands of jobs that were brought here to our home. So when we talk about the difference that Caribbean Americans make, this is a wonderful success story, but it's just one out of the thousands. So our Caribbean is rich with wonderful folks who have truly contributed to a lot of things that we take for granted in this country. And I thank you, and I thank all the people behind us and all the people that will come before us and after us.
Thank you again, Commissioner. If I could blush, my face would be red right now. But the opportunities that were granted to me as part of the whole U.S. Community was tremendous. So it was just a matter of setting your goals and sticking to them. And wasn't easy, but, you know, they were there. So all I did was take advantage of it. And that's what we try to do as immigrants to this community, to make our place and to make sure that we contribute positively to the entire community. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Crist, before we do the photograph, we have some comments from the dais. Commissioner Miller, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've spent a little bit of time in the Caribbean from time to time. My brother-in-law's from Montego Bay. But when is you say you have a festival? On June 3rd. On June 3rd. Is there any conch salad there? I'll be there.